Hello and welcome back to the show. Before Nintendo made the 3DS, this actually isn't the 3DS, this is a DS Lite. I don't own a 3DS, but you get the picture, which popularized 3D as the, 3D without glasses. That was when Nintendo did it right with 3D, right for, everyone's taste, everyone was happy. Before that, they made another glorious attempt with, of course, the Virtual Boy. In between those, they tried and failed with the GameCube, but they didn't even make it official, so that doesn't really count. But before that, they actually tried even earlier than that with everyone's favorite, the Famicom. And those that are over there, the Famicom 3D system. So let's have a look at that. So here is the Famicom 3D system. I've got it in the box. Although, of course, I didn't get it in Japan. I bought it off of Swedish eBay. And it cost 6,000 yen, as the sticker on there says. Came out in 1987. 1 month before Sega produced their own. So, inside we have, plastic, yes. And the visor itself, a little more plastic. This little box. And a manual. Oh, instruction leaflet. It's one of those that folds out instead of opening up. That's a little bit of one of those complicated schematic things. You actually don't need the disk system. It makes it look like it, but you can use it. But you don't have to. Take away the rubber band there. Yes, pretty long cord actually. In this, you got the connector. You absolutely need that one. If you find just a visor, then yeah, good luck using it. Okay, here's the thing. You have 2 ports down there, and you have this thing for the controller. I'll get to that soon. So you take your 3.5mm connector here, and put it into either one of those ports, doesn't matter which one. I think that means you can use 2 players with 2 3D glasses, which is pretty cool. I never tried that, but I don't have 2 obviously. And yeah, the visor itself is very lightweight. It actually has a head strap, unlike the Virtual Boy, but it's also, it's a much lighter thing, so it doesn't weigh much. I think it's pretty nice looking. So once that's connected, you plug the thing into your expansion port. Mine is, of course, on the side, Twin Famicom, but if it's a regular Famicom, then it's on the front. You put in your controller. It's only if you're going to use an extra controller. You actually don't need to do it, but that's what I do. So once the Famicom 3D system headset is securely fastened upon your forehead, you can put in one of your games that is compatible with the Famicom 3D system. I have 3 of them. There are 7 in total. For the Sega 3D glasses, they one-upped Nintendo literally by making 8 compatible games, but there are 7. I have 3. On the Famicom, regular Famicom, I have Cosmic Epsilon, which is kind of a Space Harrier clone. I have Falsion by Konami, a space shooter. Although it's not a Space Invaders type thing, it's more of a into the screen type thing. And Nintendo's very own Famicom 3D Hot Rally. Famicom Grand Prix 2 3D Hot Rally, to be specific. It has Mario and Luigi on the cover. You can see them in the game, although it's a little falsely advertised as, the first Mario-themed racing game. Technically it is, but it's no Mario Kart, as you will see in a moment. The other games is... there's one called Animal Attack Gakuen, which is also like a Space Harrier clone, but a little more wackiness. There's a Rad Racer, which I'll get to soon. There's JJ Tobi Daisakusen 2, which I'll also get... that's a sequel to 3D World Runner. There's also a kind of a fighting 2D... it's a fighting game RPG type thing for the disk system by Jaleco, I think, which is a little strange. I've never tried that one. Now, when you think of 3D as an American or European, when you think of 3D on the NES, you think of Rad Racer and 3D World Runner, because in those games, when you press select, the game goes 3D, so to speak, and it goes like black, red, green type thing. You're supposed to have those red-green type glasses, or red-blue, I forget which. Now the thing with that is that 3D World Runner, the first one, is not it's not compatible with these. The Japanese one isn't. Rad Racer, however, is a kind of a different story. The Western version is not compatible with real 3D, so to speak, like this. It's compatible with those red-green regular ANS glasses, even though I say compatible, but it doesn't quite work. I've tried it, I don't feel any 3D from that. However, Rad Racer is compatible with these, but not in America or Europe. It's only compatible in Japan. You see, when you press select in the Western versions, the game goes, the screen goes black, red, green, that stuff. But when you press select in the Japanese version, called Highway Star, by the way, just like the Deep Purple song, yes, it was changed to avoid copyright problems. When you press select in the Japanese version, the screen kind of splits, like it will for any of these 3 games also. So in Japan, the game has real 3D. So first here we have Cosmic Epsilon by Asmic. This game is pretty much Space Harrier. You play as this robot-looking guy, or maybe it's probably some guy in a suit with some kind of flying capacity, I don't know. He has these 2 balls with him that shoot, and that means also you have to adjust your aim a little bit. The aim is about a little bit over those balls and in the middle, so to speak. It's not straight ahead. But yeah, it looks pretty good. It has this nice floor texture thing going, which is pretty impressive for Famicom, actually. You can go up or down a bit around, but then shoot enemies. Obviously, it's not as good as Space Harrier because it's not as fast and furious, first of all, and you can't run on the ground, and there's not a lot of stuff to avoid. You just kind of fly around, but you need to shoot them before they shoot you because otherwise you die. Yeah, it's, I mean, the 3D works, and it looks pretty good with the 3D on. Of course, you can't see it, but, trust me. I think you need a CRT TV, however. Playing it for this video actually beat the first stage, which ended with a large boss that looks like kind of a round skull. That same skull seemed to attack the Earth in the intro, so final boss already? No. At the end of the first stage he turns into like a plane, so I guess he's a transformer. And then the second stage is in space! And that's cool, because then that means you get 2 game styles for the price of 1. You get the space shooter and you get the Space Harrier sort of ripoff. Imitation, homage, whatever. Yeah, second stage, pretty cool, although I died here. And the game over animation is pretty cool. It has like this... that looks definitely better in 3D. Next we have Falsion by Konami. This game is a little weird with 3D. First of all, on the title screen you can choose between 3D gameplay and normal gameplay. Of course I picked 3D. Then, as I did not mention earlier, you have to, in all the compatible Famicom games, you have to press select to actually turn on the 3D. Which, as long as you know it, I mean, otherwise you'd be like, what the hell, it's not working. But otherwise I think it's pretty good. It's like, once you're ready. So yeah, press the select button. However, Falsion, even though it's really cool, it feels like it separates the sprites too much. So even with the 3D glasses on, it's too much 3D. It goes too far, so to speak. So it doesn't look 3D, it just looks like double vision, which is strange. I mean, with this one, unlike the Virtual Boy, there's no IPD sensor or any kind of adjustment thing. You just have 3D on or off. So, fortunately, this one is a bit of a missed opportunity, or maybe just my eyes, that's the problem. I don't know. Also, just as a game itself, I wouldn't play it really for more than a minute or 2, because it's pretty hard. I mean, the enemies just come kind of out of nowhere, and then you're dead, or before you can say, what? But, on the upside, when you die, you get to know where Normal Boots got their jingle from. Finally, the last game I have is Famicom Grand Prix 2 3D Hot Rally. It's kind of interesting how the title both has the 2 and 3D in the same title. But yeah, this, as I said before, is the first racing game with Mario in it, way before Mario Kart. And of course it only came out in Japan, it came on a blue disc. But yeah, this game is a rally game. You can pick 3 different cars, you can pick a class, which is pretty much the same as cars. So yeah, you play it, and it's one of those early driving games. It has the lines that is supposed to make it look all 3D-ish. You drive, there's little hills, that's pretty cool. You have some jumps, that's also pretty cool. Because it's a Nintendo game, I think they couldn't help themselves but put in, like, the lamp posts in the beginning are like, look like dragons or something. This game is not friendly apparently, because the trees and the rocks are all evil looking. But yeah, I think that's just Nintendo wanted to throw in a little bit of a flavor to the game. Yeah, it's not an amazing game, not very exciting. Like none of the games for the 3D system is really that great, but you know, it's an early attempt, so yeah. Now the glasses themselves, they use like a shutter system thing, which shutters the left eye and the right eye alternatively, which combined with the splitting image thing that goes on the actual TV, creates a sense of 3D. And this is like a kind of a primitive way to do 3D. My beloved Virtual Boy sort of did the same thing, but with mirrors and LED lights, but it actually looks a lot better on the Virtual Boy because there's no flickering sensation. Yeah, but apparently, from what I've read, the people thought the headset was uncomfortable. I feel it's very lightweight, and yeah, I mean, I think it works fine, and there's room for my glasses. That's always nice. So that was, and this is the Famicom 3D system. It's not that great, of course, but it's an early try. It's 1987. Nintendo would go on to make greater things with 3D, and eventually get it also commercially viable with the 3DS. But it's still cool to have. It's although the visor, this is also cool, like in a nerdy kind of way. The Sega 3D glasses, I have to give the design award to those. Yeah, Famicom 3D glasses, a relic, but a rad relic.